Coming up on the Lakeside Loop, highlights from this year's Easter concert, a preview of the senior art show,
and a Lakeside student uses God-given talents in carpentry.
The Loop starts now.
Hello, and welcome to the April 8th edition of the Lakeside Loop. I'm Jacob Greedle.
And I'm Brock Schneider. Thanks for joining us. A new venue is coming to Lakeside. You have definitely seen the posters in the hallways and on doors, and in many other places. Of course, I am talking about the Senior Art Show. Morgan Sloniker gave us a preview of this year's show.
The Senior Art Show is pretty much where seniors take their art projects that they have been working on and then they just put them on display, and pretty much people just see them and they get judged on them, and that's pretty much what the Senior Art Show is. I'm pretty excited. I have some good art projects that I want to put out there. I know a lot of other people have been working hard to put some art projects out there, so I know the art's going to be pretty good. One of my favorite art projects that I saw was Julia Hallman's. It's this field of flowers, and it looks really cool.
Can't wait for your fabulous art pieces. The Wisconsin School Music Association's Solo and Ensemble Festival is a competition where musicians compete to have the highest scores and ratings to beat other competitors. Mr. Beege explained the competition and Lakeside's participation.
WSMA is the Wisconsin School Music Association, and we are members of that, and we participate in solo and ensemble events. This year virtually. Otherwise, in other years we are doing that in person, and in other years we would also do full choir and full band in person as well. So this year's a bit different. We're done as far as getting all the entries in. We took 2 nights to video the last 2 nights. Some students did videos at home, which worked out fine as well. And the WSMA had a good app that made it fairly easy to put everything in, and they're getting the results back to us quite quickly as well. So that's been good. Well, we had fewer numbers this year because of the virtual participation. The ones that we heard, the kids did well, but we don't have any larger groups doing things this year. It's largely duets and trios and piano, and then other than that, it's solo entries as opposed to group entries. So it's a bit different this year from other years.
God's blessings to all the student participants in the competition. The Easter concert took place last week and was a great success. The band performed on Tuesday and the choir performed on Wednesday. What a fantastic display of God's gifts.
One of the teachers here at Lakeside is expecting a child. I'll give you a hint. He runs a lot. You guessed it, it's Mr. Austen. Mr. and Mrs. Austen have been expecting a child since about July.
When I found out that my wife was pregnant, I was, one, surprised and very, very thankful. Found out right in our gazebo at home, and she told me, and it was definitely a little bit of relief too, because it had been a long time since we had wanted children, and felt very humbled that God had blessed us in such a way. One, I think my mileage is going to drop significantly as a distance runner. That's just one of many changes that I'm going to have to adapt to. And 2, just from the perspective of being able to balance being a teacher, I see over 100 kids a day, and also being a parent. I think that's going to really impact the way that I interact with kids, just now that I'll have one of my own. and certainly the way that I've got to make sure that when I'm home, and when I'm here, I'm here. Getting ready for a child is not easy. For one, it means that you have to make sure that you've got your home ready, that you've got yourself ready, and that meant a lot of building baby furniture for me, and getting to use a lot of Allen wrenches and hex keys. And at this stage, we're getting pretty close to being just about 100% ready. Just this last weekend, I've made some final last-minute changes about exactly what I'm taking to the hospital, and at this point, now it's all in God's hands, because my work here is done, and it's just a matter of just making sure that, Lord willing, that's mother and child are healthy, and I get to just be along and just witnessing the miracle of childbirth and watching yet another soul enter into this world.
Since the recording of this interview, Mr. and Mrs. Austen have actually been blessed with a newborn child. Miles William Austen, born on April 7th, 2021 at 7:49 p.m. He weighs 8 pounds, 12 ounces, and is 21 inches tall. And from all of us here at Lakeside, congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Austen.
God blesses Lakeside with many talented students. In fact, He blesses every student with their own unique gifts. In the area of carpentry, Dakota Vogel really sets himself apart. Isaiah Minning has the story.
Why do I like woodworking? I think it's just peaceful. I love enjoying building things. I love the final product of being able to create something out of your mind and being able to have a physical object. I think I discovered the love for woodworking probably freshman year. I took the class thinking it'd be fun, and then by the end of the class I just had a big fascination over it. I built things from tables to boxes and some fun, crazy things, like I built a crossbow out of a deck board. One of my favorite things I've made so far is probably PH's question box. It's pretty meaningful. I like it a lot, and it gets used for a good purpose. I've built a lot of things for Lakeside. I've finished a old project, which was the altar for chapel. I built a printer shelf for Mrs. Schomer. I built the question box for PH, and I just do a lot of building around the school, simple tasks. I'd love to create a woodworking business, make furniture and stuff custom for people.
Thanks, Isaiah, for that story.
And now, you're in the loop. Thanks for joining us. For Jacob Greedle, I'm Brock Schneider.
We leave you with an Easter song performed by the freshman choir.